Hey everyone, this is Chef Miz over at Make It Zesty.
And this is Chef Bengaly over here.
And today we're going to be making some of our special Thanksgiving dishes that we like to make on Thanksgiving. And first we're going to start off with...
So we have our first item, which is like, roasted black chicken. And second, we have our fried chicken, which is same chicken as well, like, black chicken. And the third, we have our mac and cheese, basil mac and cheese. So that's what I got on my menu. So I don't know what you got on your menu. What's up?
Definitely. So I'm going to be making candy yams. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a southern style candy yams. And then I also have a Liberian style cassava leaf. So I'm going to be making that and showing you guys how I prepared that. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, I have a special dessert. So I want you guys to definitely stay tuned to watch that and see what I'm going to be making. And then you also have a drink, right? A cocktail?
Trust me. That's coming soon. Just stay tuned.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. So we're going to get started with our chicken. So we're going to bring out our chicken right now.
Yep.
And this is our black chicken.
It's basically like marinated with like orange juice, apple cider vinegar, sliced apples, sliced oranges, lemon juice, thyme, rosemary. Basically, like it's been soaking for like hours now. So we're just gonna dig in and take everything out and basically like just season it. And also over here we have our herb garlic butter, like you can see, and we also gonna season with some salt and pepper. So that's what we got going on right now. And over here.
Yeah, definitely. For the viewers to know at home how to roast their chicken. So we have actually a baby chicken. So that's what we're using right now. So if you have a turkey, there are different times that you can roast your chicken. But for this baby chicken...
For this baby chicken, basically, like, you don't want to keep the heat high. You want to basically, like, so right now I have my heat on 300. And I will be cooking it for like 30 minutes to start and then check on it and see how it's going. Now, if it's cooked, then we can take it out. If not, we're going to keep it a little longer. But right now, my goal is to keep it on 300 for like 30 minutes. Great.
And I see we have some rosemary and some oranges and some apples in here. What inspired you to add all of these fruits and also spices to marinate this chicken?
So basically, like, I started as a dishwasher, with one of the top company right now, and basically, like, it's a Mexican restaurant, and me working there from the jump, basically, like, they taught me a lot of stuff, basically, like, how to, like, season it with, like, juices, like, to give it, like, some sweetness, like, so when you roast it, basically, like, it's gonna give it that color that you're actually looking for. So that's why, I went with orange juice, brown sugar, like, apples, all that stuff. So yeah, that's
great. And rosemary definitely gives it a nice flavor and also gives it a pinch of a spice kick to it too. So I'm definitely gonna enjoy this.
Yes.
So yeah, let's take out the chicken from the bowl. So this is what the chicken looks like. So we have some thyme.
Yeah.
And we have some rosemary in here, and then we have some oranges, some fresh oranges, and some fresh Granny Smith apples. Right, so this is what the black chicken looks like. So I actually purchased this chicken from Hong Kong supermarket in Chinatown, and last year when I purchased it, it was actually larger. So I was surprised. I was surprised to see it this small.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this chicken you can typically find it in Indonesia and also in China.
Yeah.
And okay, we're gonna flip it over. Yeah, so it's typically used for soups, and people will use it when they're sick. So they'll make like a broth out of it, or they'll boil it and just eat it. They'll just eat it. So this chicken is pretty good. Okay. To me, when I tried it, when I made my jerk chicken, it actually tasted like a cleaner chicken to me.
Interesting.
If that makes sense. Like a clean chicken.
Clean chicken makes sense to me.
Like
I don't know about
like a breast. Like to me, some breasts are like much like white meat.
Yeah, like white meat.
Yeah.
Totally get it. So you wanna get to seasoning now?
Yeah, definitely get to seasoning now.
Alright, so first off, like, I'll season with some salt.
Okay.
So you wanna get everywhere to make sure, like, it's very well seasoned.
So this salt actually is from Ghana, and it comes from the legume that they have in Ghana, and it's really high in iodine. So when I cook most of my food, I typically use salt from Africa.
Okay.
And it's really rich. I have a spice blend, and I typically grind my spices and salt because it's really coarse when you get it. So it's definitely gonna come out really good. So we added this is fresh black pepper, right?
Fresh black pepper.
And then
salt.
we added the rock salt.
Yep.
And then could you go over our butter that we have here?
Yeah, so basically like the butter is basically like, been on room temperature for like, an hour, and, I chopped up some garlic, some rosemary, some thyme, basically mix it together, basically like, I'm going to rub the chicken with it. Okay. And it's like, put some on the inside as well and under the skin, so it's like, the chicken could stay juicy.
Definitely.
So just going to grab some of these bad boys and just rub the chicken with it.
And as you stated before, the oven is heated to 300 degrees, right?
Yes.
So for a chicken this size,
yes,
would be 300. Now, let's say if a chicken was like maybe twice this size, then what temperature would you say?
So I would say the temperatures, basically, it matters at the same time as it don't. Because, the bigger the chicken is, the longer the chicken should stay in the oven.
Got it. So if you have like a larger turkey, it'll stay in there a little bit longer. If you have a smaller baby chicken, you'll cook it a little less, and that actually smells really good. So could you explain again
1 second.
what's in here?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, it's basically like chopped garlic, chopped rosemary, chopped chives, and thyme. And basically I season also with some salt and pepper.
Nice.
Yes.
So it's pretty simple, but the flavors are definitely there, and I definitely smell this.
The garlic.
The garlic in here.
And the rosemary.
And
Yes.
It is definitely going to be a good chicken.
Yes.
A good chicken.
So
let's say if you wanted to marinate this overnight, could you still use this method and using butter, or would you use something else?
So I would say, me personally, like if I will marinate my chicken, I'll use the juice.
The juice.
Yes.
Got it.
Because it's basically like, the juice will, like, the chicken will absorb all the, like, flavor from the juice with the apples, with the thyme and everything else. You could do this as well. It's not a problem. But I think, with the juice is much better. Got it. What I mean? This is basically like, to get that, garlic flavor, like, crust on the chicken.
Got it.
And then the butter on top of the chicken is basically like, it's going to be very flavorful.
Definitely.
Like people always say, butter makes it better.
Yeah. Certain cultures definitely use different techniques to clean their chicken. So some people will use lemon juice, apple cider vinegar to clean their chicken. But we both worked in different restaurants.
Yes.
Also in hospitality, catering. Could you talk a little bit more about like cleaning your chicken and your experience with that? Do you still do that? So
basically, like, when it comes down to cleaning chicken, me personally, like, depending on how, like, dirty the chicken is, I'll go with, like, lemon juice, like, salt especially, like, and just basically like scrub it with some lemon, But usually, like, when it comes, basically, I just rinse it off with some water because I don't want to get all that actual flavor out of the chicken. Right. So I just keep it clean. So now, basically, we're going to get, like, some apples, some sliced, oranges, some limes, basically, like, just put it inside this baby chicken. Are we also going to add the rosemary, too? Yes. Great. You're trying to keep the flavor in there. So when you add fruits into meats, what does that do for the viewers? Basically, it's just give it, like, a little bit of sweetness, like, because it's like fruit is actually got their own sweetness to it, and then, like, you don't want to use sugar because sugar is like too sweet. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like fruity sweetness is basically like better for me. Right. And then you're also adding zest because you're also definitely adding the rosemary, and then you have all those flavors in there, and it's gonna marinate. You already marinated it, so it's definitely gonna sink in, and then when we roast it, it's definitely gonna come out pretty cool. The one thing I would always want to say is just keep it zesty. Just keep it zesty. Okay. There you go. You always gotta keep it zesty. Of course. There you go. And basically, like, put some of these bad boys on top of it. Nice. Hope you guys are taking notes at home. Voila. Et c'est parti. So now it goes in the oven. Got it. Doing it in favor? Definitely. So we have our special oven. I'm going to sneak in here. And I'm going to pop it in. Watch your back.
Cool. So it's actually hot. So this is actually set up to 300 degrees. And how long are we going to keep this in here for?
So first we're going to keep it in there for like 30 minutes. And
Got
then
it.
Check it out and check the temperatures and see how it goes. And then after that, then we'll see if it's not cooked, then we're going to keep it in there a little longer.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to start the timer now. And the time is...
we actually do have a timer here.
We actually do have a timer. So that's great. We're going to put it on...
30 minutes.
30 minutes. So we'll check that back. Our timer's going to go off. And we're actually going to get to the next thing. So we're going to just clean up a little bit.
Yep. And we will be right back.
Hey foodies, so we're back. And we're going to be making our candy yams and
fried black chicken.
Great. So I'm actually going to start, and Bengaly's actually going to start. So I'm going to go over some of the ingredients that I have, and then Bengaly's also going to go over some ingredients that he has. So Thanksgiving, many different people all over definitely have yams, mac and cheese, or collard greens. So this year we're doing it a little different. We're adding stuff that we like. Also adding like a traditional blend to it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be adding the yams, but I'm going to be doing it a little different. So sometimes different people would use white sugar. I'm actually using coconut sugar, and I'm using brown sugar.
Yeah. So
my live. Click the thing.
He said my live.
So guys, sorry about that live. Okay, so we're gonna cut back. So we're using coconut sugar, and we're also using brown sugar. So traditionally, some people will use white sugar and brown sugar. Coconut sugar is actually a healthier sugar, and brown sugar is also healthy too. But this is also good for diabetics. You can use it for pastries. You can use it for coffee. And you can pretty much use it for anything.
So what made you go with coconut sugar?
So typically when I teach my classes, a lot of people ask me what's a healthier sugar, and coconut sugar is actually on the top of the pyramid of healthiest sugar.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why I use coconut sugar. I like to give people different options on different sugars or different ingredients they can use. And then we have some clove, about a tablespoon of clove.
Okay.
And then we have some vanilla extract. We only use the cap of it. We don't want it to. We don't.
Overwhelm it.
Yeah, we don't want to overwhelm that. And then we're adding some coriander.
Okay.
Definitely gives it a nice taste. And then we have some cinnamon.
Nice.
Guys, when you're making your candy yams, you definitely do not want to make cinnamon rolls. I repeat, you do not want to make cinnamon rolls.
That's a good one. Tell them.
So you want to make sure that you have enough. So for me personally, I would put about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 to 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, depending on how much yams I'm using. So for this, I only use 2 medium-sized yams. So this should be good. If you're using more, you just double the recipe. And then I have a pinch of sea salt. It's going to spark the flavor. And yeah, so what are you going to be making?
So basically, I'm going to be making fried black chicken.
Okay.
Basically, like, so, you know, I'm just keeping it like nice and simple, like, you know, everybody else would. Mm-hmm. I'm be using, of course, buttermilk.
Okay.
Right here. Love black buttermilk. Like, you know, it's very flavorful. Also, I have Frank Red Hot over here. Mm-hmm. And I have Tabasco sauce, salt, and black pepper. So basically, like, you know, I will be adding all the liquid, like, you know, season, like, you know, the buttermilk with, like, the Frank Red Hot, you know, the Tabasco, the salt and pepper, and the eggs. Basically, like, you know, breaded with it. And the breading over here is basically, like, flour and some cornstarch. Voila. So,
oh,
yeah.
Chicken is also done, too. Our roasted chicken.
Oh, wow. So I guess we're going to take a look at it now.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at it. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to actually grab out...
the bread actually blocking me away.
Yeah. So this is what it looks like. Smells really good.
Oh, I love that garlic flavor.
Oh, this is hot. Smells good.
So basically, like, since you cooked black chicken before, when it's ready, like, how it's supposed to look?
So when I cooked it, the inside of the meat it turns white. So we saw it before; it was black, but the inside of the meat is supposed to be white. And we cooked it for about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna grab a knife, right, and we're going to cut into it and see if it needs to go in a little bit longer. And, you know, as I mentioned before, sometimes when you're chicken, different sizes of chicken, you'll have to keep it in there longer. So we're just going to cut a little piece. So it's almost white, not there yet.
So you definitely need more time.
Definitely need more time.
Yep.
But it's definitely hot. And definitely smell all the flavors in there. And you would do the same thing if you had a regular chicken too.
So I'll say need about like 15 to 20 more minutes.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep it in there. And I'm going to also set a timer in.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll put the timer in for 20 minutes. And then I'm going to put our chicken back in here. And then we're going to start cooking.
All right. So we will start with your candy yams, right?
Yep, we're going to start with the candy yams.
All right, so let's open up the stovetop.
Yep.
Voila.
All right, so I'm going to get the stovetop on. Then I'll get yours on. Cool. Yeah.
All right. So,
yeah. So I'll start off. So first thing you want to do is get a pan, a nice deep pan, and we're going to add in a half a cup of water. So 2 half cups of water.
okay.
We're gonna add that into our pot. So I'm gonna grab some water right now. So got that in here. And I'm gonna grab one more cup of water, half cup of water. So a lot of things that some people may do is basically boil their yams, but if you're making it a southern way, they would typically just add a little bit of water because yams actually produce their own water.
Okay.
So you don't want to overflow it with a lot of water, and it doesn't just come out right.
So
I'm
question, why are you using cold water to cook the yams?
Because it's going to get hot.
Okay.
And we're going to make our syrup with it. So I'm also going to add some sugar here too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not going to season the water with any type of seasoning?
So we're not just yet. So we're just going to add one layer, and then we're going to add our sugar.
Okay.
And then we're going to add our spices in.
Great.
So I'm adding this one layer right now. And we can start with yours too.
All right.
As this gets hot.
So over here, I will be marinating my chicken. So first off, I will start with my buttermilk. Of course. Frank Red Hot.
Now with the Frank Red Hot, what does that do with the buttermilk?
So basically, me personally, like when I make my fried chicken, I love a little bit of kick to it.
Okay.
So the Frank Red Hot and the Tabasco sauce, give that, kick. You know what I mean?
And these ingredients are pretty simple too.
Very simple. You don't want to this is the thing. You don't want to overdo with fried chicken because like when you deep fry it, like you could season it after that as well. Like you could add in like whatever sauce you want. Like me personally, like I like my fried chicken like super simple. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So salt and pepper.
Yeah, it's got that nice rock salt in it.
Yep. And you want to mix it up nicely.
And you also have a sauce that you're coming out with, right?
Yes, my sauce is coming out very soon. I have it here, but I will be surprising you guys with that.
Okay, cool.
I'm not going to show you just yet.
All right, cool.
And I have 3 eggs.
Okay. Now with the eggs, what does that do for this recipe 3?
So the eggs basically like help in like the breading.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So let me get some whisk.
Okay.
Real fast.
So as for my candy yams, the water's starting to boil. So I'm also going to add in my brown sugar. I'm just going to use half of it. Because I also have some more yams right here. And I'm going to lay that on top. I'm just adding in my brown sugar. So you're going to whisk this.
So I will be whisking my eggs with the buttermilk and hot sauce mixture.
Mm-hmm. And how many seconds would you say to whisk it?
Basically, you want to make sure, like, the eggs, like, the egg yolk and the egg white is, like, nicely beaten together.
Okay.
Since I didn't, like, beat it, like, make in a separate bowl, like, I'm making sure, like, everything is incorporated together nicely. So, now this is ready.
Okay.
I will be adding the black chicken to the liquid.
Nice. And do you marinate it for a certain amount of time?
So it's always best to keep your, like, any meat you want to marinate, it's always best to keep it marinated, like, overnight, like for a long period of time. Okay. So it's like, the meat can actually, like, get all the flavor.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm actually going to add the butter into the yams towards the end.
So now that my chicken is marinated now, I will be working on my breading.
Okay.
So I will start with flour.
Mm-hmm.
Basically like a cup or 2. Basically you want to do like an equal amount of flour and cornstarch. Because you don't want basically like the you want to make sure like it has that nice color, like when you fry the chicken. So it's like equal amount of flour and cornstarch. Basically like it's a best way to actually fry chicken. Mm-hmm. Like some people go with just straight flour, which is fine, but I personally prefer like cornstarch and flour.
So for those who are viewing at home that are cooking for the first time for Thanksgiving, would you say they should use a cup to start off with?
Yeah, so you can do a cup of flour, a cup of cornstarch. That will work fine.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And I also go with some salt. You got some salt over there?
Yeah, I definitely have some salt. Got you.
Great.
So as for the yams, they're starting to boil. I'm gonna add my spices. So I'm gonna add in my cinnamon and clove. Then I'm also gonna add in my vanilla.
Nice.
And then I'm also gonna add in my coriander.
So how long do you think it's gonna take to be ready?
So this will take about 45 minutes to be done.
Interesting.
Yep. The yams typically take, unless like some people have different methods on how they cook their yams.
Yes.
Some people will boil it first and then make like their syrup.
Yeah.
Doing it old fashioned, so it's gonna take some time on here. But I'm going to add in my next layer of yams.
Okay. So by doing that, you don't think the first layer you added will be overcooked?
No.
No?
No. They're all going to cook at the same time. And I don't have too much in here.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm going to add in the rest of my sugar, of the brown sugar that I had. So before I used only half of it. And when you're making this, so you want to make sure you have either a lid. In this case, I'm going to probably use some foil.
Right. All right. So I'll get a pot, to get my oil going for the fried chicken.
Yep. Bengali actually made us a drink. So could you tell us what kind of drink this is?
Well, it's basically like I use tequila.
Okay.
So lemon juice. Yes, come on. This is my favorite tequila actually so far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So lemon juice,
100%.
pineapple juice, a little bit of spit syrup, and mint.
Okay.
You know, shake it up with some ice. Good to go.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I had my candy yams in here for about 20 minutes. And as you can see, the syrup is getting in. So I'm just going to flip it. And now I'm going to add my butter. So I'm adding in 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And the reason why I'm using unsalted butter because we added salt in here and we're adding our spices. So we don't want our yams to be over salted.
Okay.
And we're just going to keep mixing this and then put our lid back in here and just let this cook some more.
Nice.
So we actually are going to fry our fried chicken right now, right?
Yes. So I'm pretty sure the oil should be ready. Do you mind putting it up to medium high?
Sure.
You know?
So when frying chicken, what temperature should...
So basically, like, since we are using cornstarch, you know,
Okay.
medium high, you know, is definitely good, you know, enough. And you know, the chicken is not big enough either, so it's like you don't want to like put it on high and it's like just gonna like cook right through and it's like gonna be overcooked. So you want to keep it on medium, between medium and medium high, you know, so the chicken could actually cook at a proper temperature.
So you want to keep your chicken at a medium temperature if it's a small chicken.
Yes.
And if it's a bigger chicken, you want it on the highest.
Yeah, depending on what type of bread and also you're using.
Okay.
So if it's just straight flour, you don't want to keep it on straight high because
Right.
it's the flour is actually gonna burn.
Right, right.
You don't want that.
We don't want no burnt chicken.
Exactly. So it's gotta,
Exactly.
you know, that's why I always mix my flour with cornstarch. Yes. So do you mind me passing?
So how long would you say your fried chicken takes for you to cook?
So, you know, this is the trick with fried chicken. When people fry chicken, they be asking, like, you know, how long it takes, like. So my answer to that is basically like, just keep your chicken in the fryer.
Okay.
As soon as it start floating, that means it's ready.
Okay.
You know, like that's the key. Like, you know, you want to make sure your fried chicken is ready. Just keep it in the oil. When it start floating, your fried chicken is ready.
So I'm actually going to cover my yams back again. I'm going to cover it halfway just so I can get some air and they can also still cook too. But it definitely smells really good. And I think our chicken is also done too.
Oh, the timer went off?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Should be ready then.
Did it go off? Yeah, it did go off. It smells really good too.
That garlic is...
That butter garlic you added in here.
Yes.
So we made a roasted black chicken. We're gonna place this right here. So this is what it looks like. And this is definitely hot.
You want to put it down?
Let me put this
Burn
down.
yourself.
Yep. Yep. And we're gonna actually plate this later. My live went off. I'm back.
All right. So my fried chicken, basically, like, you know, like you guys saw earlier, it was marinated, like, you know, from earlier. You know, I'm pretty sure, like, you know, it got enough flavor from the buttermilk, the Tabasco sauce, the Frank Red Hot, the salt and pepper. So basically, we're gonna dump it in the flour mix.
Okay.
You know, so also, like, you know, depending on how crispy you want your fried chicken to be, you, like, you know, if you could do like braid it one time or twice.
Okay.
You know, usually I basically like go I bread it twice. You know, so it could be super crispy.
Okay.
So
yeah, I know some people add eggs. I see you didn't add eggs. Why did
added eggs?
Oh, you
to
did
the
add
mix.
eggs. You add eggs to the mix. Some people would add it separate.
Separately, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I added to the mix for more flavor. So now that, you know, I breaded for the once, now we'll dump it back in the mixture again.
Oh, okay. So you're double batter.
Yes, and then put it back in the flour. Just like that. And just drop it in the fryer. Same thing with everything else.
This drink actually reminds me of Casamigos.
Casamigos, yes, I love Casamigos. I love all type of tequila, by the way. I just think I'm a tequila fan.
You smell these yams?
Yes, I'm smelling it. I love the vanilla extra flavor, smell to it, the cinnamon. Beautiful.
Coriander.
Yes. And so we're gonna stop right there because you don't want to other.
Right. And then I'm gonna also get you some tongs because we need a.
Yes, to be able to flip it.
Right.
All right, so we're back, and everything is ready. So now we're gonna be making mac and cheese, and
we're gonna be making some rosemary cornbread. So this recipe is actually inspired by my sister.
Okay.
So one Thanksgiving, she actually made rosemary cornbread, and I was like pretty surprised, and I really enjoyed it. So I actually made my own version. So I'm gonna be making rosemary cornbread. So we're gonna be using some fresh corn, and we're gonna be using some coconut milk, some light brown sugar, 2 eggs, fresh rosemary, about a tablespoon, and some cinnamon. And then I'm going to be using red mill cornbread. So if you have a favorite cornbread, you can definitely use that. But this is what I'm going to be using. And
nice.
It's going to taste really good. And then I'm actually going to add some of the garlic butter, rosemary that you actually made.
Interesting.
And I'm going to top it with our cornbread.
So why are you using the garlic and herb butter?
So it's actually going to give it a nice herb taste to it.
Okay.
The cornbread is sweet, but it definitely balances off with the butter that you made, and I feel like it's going to be great.
Okay. Can't wait to try that.
Yeah.
All right. So right now, I'm going to be starting with my mac and cheese, and then later he's going to make his cornbread. So my water is definitely going. It's not ready yet, so I will be starting with my cheese sauce.
Okay.
So basically, it's gonna be like an equal amount of butter and flour. So we're gonna be going with the butter first.
So we put like a whole scoop of butter.
Yes.
Right here.
Well, the pan is really hot right now, so you definitely don't want that. You basically want your pan to be like nice and warm, so when it melt, when the butter takes its time to melt. So right now, you see how the butter is burning. It's definitely fine as well, but I'll rather like my butter to take its time to melt. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So now I will be adding my flour.
Okay. And this is about a cup of flour.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, you want to whisk it in to make a roux. There you go. So now this is our roux.
So down south, they actually call that rocks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to make a thick batter for some type of marinade that they're making on a soup or a sauce.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of a similar method.
Yeah.
You're making this for your mac and cheese.
My mac and cheese, yes. So now I'm gonna just let it cook a little bit, So the more you let it cook, the more your sauce will be thick.
Right.
So
but you want to keep an eye on it, right?
Yeah, you want to keep an eye on it, just keep whisking it, you don't want your roux to burn. Got it. So keep whisking it, keep your eye on it, whisk it, and I'll basically open up my heavy cream. Gotta shake it up a little bit first.
So why heavy cream? Could you use regular milk?
So you could use regular milk. I prefer heavy cream because it makes your sauce thicker, faster, and it has more flavor.
Okay.
So yeah. So my roux will be ready in 30 seconds.
Got it. And we're gonna also bake our mac and cheese also too, or we're gonna just cook it in the pot.
So we basically, after the cheese sauce is done and the pasta is done, we're gonna mix everything together, and then we have a skillet. I love my mac and cheese in a skillet, of course. Okay. So we're gonna put it in a skillet, top it up with some breadcrumbs, with some bread mixture of breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, herbs, and basically pop back in the oven to bake it.
Nice.
Yes. So now that my roux is ready, I will be adding some heavy cream. So as you can see, the more I'm adding, it's getting thicker and thicker. So just keep whisking and adding.
And do you any seasonings to this too?
So yes, you could add salt and pepper. You know, like depending on if you want the spicy as well, you could do cayenne pepper or whatever you like. So yeah, it's actually like thick.
Like
I
really
definitely
too.
yes. So this is how you want it to look when it's basically like with every cheese like you add to it, but I definitely need more cream for sure. So 1 second.
And our heat is still on a medium high. So
Yes.
you definitely want to.
So you want to put it back on low.
That's
Can you
on
please
low.
put it back on low?
Sure.
That's fine.
We got it on low. And our water is hot, so what I'm going to do is actually add our noodles.
Yes.
Right here. And we're actually using shells, noodles. And Bengali actually likes cooking with shells, so.
Yes. I think it's more like, you know, when you use the shells, it's more filling and it's just the best for me.
Got it.
So basically the pasta needs to be taking about 8 to 10 minutes to cook.
Right.
So
and you also want to make sure you follow the directions on your box. It typically tells you how long to cook your noodles.
So,
and also too, you may want to cut the cooking time that you do cook your noodles, because if you do add them, put them in the oven, you're also going to cook them and also going to still get soft. So you may want to reduce that time that you do boil your noodles, because you don't want them too soft.
so now basically I'll be adding like, you know, cheese. So I have 3 types of cheese.
Okay.
I have shredded yellow cheddar. You know, I'll be adding some of that. And also I have white cheddar as well.
Okay.
And I also have Parmesan. It's actually my favorite one, actually, to make mac and cheese.
Nice.
So this is basically like my cheese sauce.
Nice and thick.
Yes.
I wish you guys can smell it. It really smells really amazing. Oh, this is hot.
Yeah, it's very hot. Careful. And now we see with some salt and black pepper.
Okay. We got some fresh black pepper, some fresh salt, some fresh sea salt. Can't go wrong with that.
Definitely cannot. You want to make sure your mac and cheese is nice and flavorful, so yes.
I'm also going to try it too, so I definitely want to try this cheese sauce.
Yes.
Let me know when it's finished. You also want to check on your noodles while they're boiling, because it can overflow. You can also check in the heat.
Yes.
Is it done yet?
Yeah, but the cheese sauce is definitely ready.
Okay. Can I try some?
Yeah, of course. So, voila.
Thank you. Try some. It's kind of hot. Give me a couple seconds. Truffle would have went amazing with this.
Yeah, truffle would be way better.
But it's definitely amazing cheese
I
sauce.
think you need a little more salt, right?
Yeah, we can add a little bit of
A
salt
little
and
more,
black
right?
pepper. I definitely like it. Some people tend to season their noodles. Do you season your noodles?
Yes, I do. It's actually like, you know, better that way because, you know, so the fact that like, you know, when you if you don't season your noodles and you just season the cheese sauce, like, you know, it's just gonna be like perfect amount of salt. So when you mix the noodles with the cheese sauce, it might be a little bit unseasoned. So it is best to actually season everything that you make.
Right. And
Yes.
it just turned off your heat.
Perfect.
So it's still hot, so it's still gonna cook. So we're just gonna leave it at that. And yeah. And then we're just gonna wait for our noodles to finish, and then we're gonna get a strainer
Yes.
so we can strain this.
Exactly.
So we do have some cornbread here that we're gonna be making, and have some ingredients here. So we have our corn, which is right here.
Okay.
We have 1 cup of coconut milk, 1 cup of brown sugar, and we have about a teaspoon of rosemary, some cinnamon, and 2 eggs. And as I mentioned before, I'm using cornbread from Red Mill. And they basically have ingredients too on how to make the cornbread.
Yeah.
You could definitely follow it, and also add your own twist
to it.
Zest, which I'm adding my rosemary and my spices to it. So we're gonna definitely do that.
Interesting.
And I'm gonna grab a bowl, and then we're gonna start getting into it.
Great.
So it's pretty simple. First things first, what you want to do is add your coconut milk, which I'm doing right here. And then I'm going to add my corn. Just 1 cup of corn. Now if you have a canned corn, you can get the sweet corn, definitely gives out good flavor.
So are you using like, fresh corn or canned?
I'm using canned.
Canned corn, okay.
And then I have my vanilla abstract. Add that in here. My cinnamon. Brown sugar.
Nice.
And my 2 eggs. And we can't forget about the cornbread. Make sure. Now you can make your own from scratch. You can follow this recipe, but I'm gonna go with this brand. It's pretty good. I have no complaints. If you like
sure people love it, right?
Yeah, if you like your Jiffy, you can definitely continue to use Jiffy.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna get a fork, or you can use a spoon or a whisk.
So my pasta should be ready soon. So give it a try.
So I'm here mixing mine in. Just mixing everything in.
So one thing I would always say about pasta, always cook your pasta to al dente. Basically like al dente, for those who don't understand what al dente is, basically like it's cooked, but it's also have that little texture to it. So it's always best to cook it that way. Why? Because in case you want to put it back in the oven, or you want to cook it back with a sauce, or whatever the case is, it will always cook it to like a perfect temperature. So always remember that. Yes, we are back, and my noodles is ready and my cheese sauce is ready. So I'll be basically mixing my mac and cheese and show you guys how it will look. So first I'll basically get my cheese sauce and the pasta.
Okay.
So just add enough and just see how you when you mix it, how it is, and if you like your mac and cheese with more sauce, you can add more.
So we're already gonna add some more cheese. So
exactly. So I got three different types of cheese that I made the sauce with. I'll be adding the same cheese as well, and also bake it afterward.
Looks amazing.
So I'm pretty good on cheese sauce already.
Yeah.
So I'll be mixing it so it's fully combined. Now that it's fully combined, I'll be adding more cheese. So I have cheddar cheese right here.
Little cheddar.
Yep.
And what about sharp?
I'll be adding both.
Okay, cool.
Yes. When you make mac and cheese, you want your mac and cheese to be super cheesy. So Parmesan cheese, I will always go more on Parmesan cheese. Why? Because I just love the flavor of Parmesan cheese. So I'm always going crazy with Parmesan cheese.
Now I'm a black pepper lover.
Yeah.
And I always tend to add black pepper to my mac and cheese.
I mean, you could definitely do that. That's totally fine, based on your taste bud. But, when I make mac and cheese, I go based on what people would think. If it's overwhelming, if it's not, or whatever the case is. So, I don't really go crazy on salt when I make my mac and cheese or black pepper. And if you want more salt or black pepper at the end, then you can just top it off with it.
Definitely.
Yes. So, as you can see, my mac and cheese is nicely done. I'll put it in my skillet. So cheese again.
Now some people like to add breadcrumbs.
Yes, I will also add breadcrumbs.
I see you have a herb that you made with your breadcrumbs. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so it's basically like panko mix with some thyme, some Parmesan cheese.
And this is all homemade, right?
Homemade, yes.
Great.
Thyme, oregano, Parmesan, and basically like this is how it is, and boom, it's ready to go in the oven.
Great.
So since you're making cornbread, let's see what you got going on.
Yeah, so definitely. So what I'm actually gonna do is add some butter to my mini skillet, which is right here, and I have my cornbread mix that's already been made. So I added real rosemary, real corn, and I'm actually gonna pour some of that in here. This is gonna come out really good.
Let's get ready to try it.
And we don't want to add too much because we don't want it to overflow. This is the right.
So I seen like few people use actually like corn. They actually like put in the food processor. So why didn't you do that?
So that would actually take a longer time putting it in the food processor because I would have to wait till it. Use one of the methods to actually dry the corn and then wait for it and then blend it.
Okay.
This was actually much more easier purchasing this brand, the red mill, and then actually adding in canned corn and rosemary to actually make this.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is how much cornbread you want to add to your skillet, and then yours looks definitely amazing too.
Yep. And they both ready to go in the oven, right?
Definitely.
Right.
So we already preheated our oven to 350 degrees.
Yes.
And we're just gonna add it in. So I'm gonna add mine to
this. Yep. Since the door is kind of blocking me a little bit, so
I got you. Our cornbread is done out the oven. So
the mac and cheese is looking so good.
Yeah. Got that here. There's our cornbread, real corn, added in. I'm just gonna add our butter on top. I'm also gonna add our extra mac and cheese in there too.
So the cornbread, you're gonna add the butter and put it back in the oven, or just gonna like
just let it sit there.
Just let it sit on it.
Yep.
It's just beautiful right now. It's making me hungry.
Yes. So,
Nice and saucy and zesty.
So I'm actually gonna take the first bite of it, and I'm just gonna wait for it to cool down a little. Oh man.
I'm pretty sure that's hot.
It is hot. It's good now. This is good. So I want to thank you all for tuning in our Thanksgiving special. We made so much zesty food, and we're definitely going to dig into a lot of this food. First things first, I want to dig into the fried chicken. I had the roasted chicken, making a jerk chicken version.
Yeah.
I've never had a fried chicken version of this, so I definitely want to try it with your sauce.
Yes, of course. My sauce is definitely like, if you like a sweet and spicy type of person, the sauce is the guy for you.
Okay.
So, since I'm a sweet and spicy type of person, what are you? Sweet spicy or?
Yeah, I definitely love sweet and spicy, sweet chili type of person.
Okay, so let's dig in.
Sure.
All right.
So, I guess I'll pop this and
just like pour it over.
Okay. Just like so.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just ready to dig in already. Nice.
I feel like we should get a picture of this. Alright, so
yes.
I'll take
Let's try. This is really good.
So we're gonna actually eat all this food. Until next video, Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow Chef Bengaly on Instagram.
Of course.
Keep up with his updates and his sauce. We're definitely gonna have some more Zesty events.
Yep.
More cooking lessons. And make sure you guys are making it Zesty at home.